Hello and welcome to another ACY Securities Market Review. My name is Alistair Schultz and I'm going to be your host through today's trading journey. Now, as you would expect, we have seen a lot of volatile action throughout the week before, and there has obviously been a lot of price action around that. Now, we still have had some news events going on amid the coronavirus news, and it's obviously impacted price to at least a certain amount. However, now over the weekend we've actually had more news coming out that we were not expecting, was not scheduled, and has resulted in some action this morning. Now, the things we've seen the RBNZ cut rates from 1% down to 0.25%. The FOMC, for the second time, they've done an emergency rate cut of 50 basis points, dropping the interest rate down to 0.25% or below. We've also had FOMC bond purchase programs get announced. So they're looking at spending $700 billion in purchasing bonds to help improve the liquidity situation in the US. We've also had 166,000 confirmed cases of COVID-19, more than 6,500 deaths, and travel bans have extended from everywhere in the UK and Europe all the way through to Australia and of course the US, which we'd already seen, but those are likely to extend even further this week with more news anticipated. Now, just to give you an idea of what's really gone on in price and to show how far things have actually gone, behind me right now I have an Australian dollar chart, and it is on a monthly scale. Now, you can see I've had 2 or 3 previous trend lines, the blue ones there, that I sort of looked at and went, these are good value points that we could consider seeing for reversals and or changes in price around these areas, and this just busted straight through them. So the next place that I can see that's going to be of use is a line from way back in the 1990s and early 2000 period. So we have a bit of distance before we get to there, but we're anticipating somewhere in the 55-cent range for the Australian dollar, especially with upcoming news in the months ahead around the RBA. Now, we've also had some information coming out for the S&P 500. We've seen price tank, literally. And in the idea of what's gone on, I've put on the chart behind me a bit of a comparison for you. The purple line that you'll see on your left-hand side of the screen will show you where the GFC was. And it's a little line about this long, and I've copied that and just put it over to where price is today. Now you can see how far price has actually moved down. And comparing it to 2008, we had the move occur over an entire year, as opposed to what we've seen now, which is a little more than 2 months. So just to see how volatile price really is at the moment, this is a perfect example. Now, the other thing that we're going to move into today was, as I do in these reviews, is we have a look at what other news events have actually occurred and why they might be occurring throughout price. So I've got a dollar-yen chart here on a 4-hour, and just to highlight again how volatile it is and how much unscheduled news has occurred throughout the week, you can see here that we've got a little section of the week just gone on this 4-hour chart and all the news events that have impacted around it. So we have Saudi oil plans occurring, Tokyo stock market crashes, White House is talking about stimulus for the economy, Bank of England rate cuts, RBA Governor Orr sort of speaking at different times, US stock market crashes. The list just goes on and on and on. So if you do have an opportunity today to sort of have a bit of a look, you can feel free to pause the screen right now and have a look at that and do some research into what some of these news events are. But I have mostly covered them in some of our other videos, so feel free to have a look in the last week's what's gone on, and I do cover a little bit of that as well. Now, just moving on a little bit further forward, we're going to talk about the news, and from here, I'll tell you a little bit more about what we're expecting from the Australian dollar, which has been an unscheduled announcement just moments ago. So today, which is Monday, we have G7 meetings occurring all day. So expect that to be about COVID-19 and to see some unscheduled news coming out around that. On Tuesday, we have an Australian Monetary Policy Minutes report coming out. However, we have heard from the Australians that we will be hearing more news on Thursday, just moments ago, and that there is going to be more action by the RBA to try and support the economy. In addition to that, we have German zoo report coming out, US core retail sales. Wednesday, we have CAD CPI, and we also have on Thursday that RBA rate action decision, which is going to be an unscheduled release. And we've also got FOMC projections are coming with rates and a press conference occurring out of the Fed. Now, expect a little bit more from that. We're going to have New Zealand GDP figures coming out, Australian employment figures, Japan monetary policy action likely to occur, and at the very least a statement. We'll be hearing from the Swiss National Bank as well, and they are going to be discussing on monetary policy, so expect there to be some volatility around the chef if you are going to be trading it. And then on Friday, we actually have a bank holiday for Japan and Canadian core retail sales at the very end of the day. So the biggest movers that I see here during the week is definitely going to be on Thursday for the Australian dollar. I expect to see the RBA rate action to occur. I don't think they will cut interest rates. However, I do see them doing some quantitative easing and or signaling towards an asset purchase program. So keep an eye on those sort of stats and the numbers that are going to be coming out around that. And of course, keep an eye on the Swiss National Bank and Japan and the Bank of Japan and what they're going to be doing on the same day. So have a good trading week ahead, and I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Now, if you do have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email at talktoal@acy.com. And of course, like and subscribe the video so you can get more great content from us in the future. Have a good trading day ahead.